Are you ready to dive into the world of project management? Hit that subscribe button as we explore how to stay relevant in the Agile workforce. If you're studying project management, you have to know the development approaches. You need to understand what type of development approaches project managers typically use. We'll discuss predictive, also known as waterfall. We'll discuss hybrid, and we'll also discuss the adaptive development approach. You can download this study guide on the EverTech and also the project leader's website. Let's study along. First, we're going to go through some definitions. A deliverable is any unique or verifiable product, result, or capability to perform a service that is produced to complete a process, phase, or a project. Development approach. It is a method used to create and evolve the product, service, or result during a project life cycle, such as predictive, iterative, incremental, adaptive, or hybrid methods. Cadence is the rhythm of activities conducted throughout the project. A project phase, it is a collection of logically related project activities culminating in completing one or more deliverables. Those are key definitions you need to make sure that you understand within the development approach. And we'll go a little bit deeper into that because we're going to talk about development cadence and life cycle relationships. So the project's deliverables types determine how it can be developed. So the type of deliverable or deliverables and the development approach influence the number of cadences throughout a project and also the project deliveries. So the cadence, remember we defined the cadence is the rhythm of activities. So the type of deliverables and the development approach impact the cadence. And then also the deliverable approach and desired delivery cadence determine the life cycles and its phases. And understand the relationship between the three and how these all interconnect. Delivery cadence refers to the timing and frequency of project deliverables and the rhythm of the activities in and throughout the project. You can have three different type of cadences. You can have a single delivery, which is a single delivery at the end of the project. It's typically going to be more predictive. You can have multiple deliveries. These are where multiple components are delivered at different times throughout the project. Multiple deliveries, as multiple components are delivered at different times throughout the project. And then you also have periodic, and these are like multiple deliveries, but they are fixed and they have schedules such as monthly or bi-monthly. I would say that that's more hybrid, and the one that was multiple deliveries, that was more iterative, more adaptive. So also there is another delivery option, which is the continuous delivery, and that is the practice of delivering features in increments immediately to customers, often in small batches of work and automation technology. So that is that continuous. And the emphasis is on delivering benefits and value throughout the project life cycle. Similar to a project, there are development-oriented aspects. However, similar to a program, there can be many development cycles and maintenance cycles as well. It works better when project teams are stable and intact. This is once again the continuous delivery. Because the project team is focused, they can apply learning about the product, stakeholders, and also the market with that continuous delivery. And this allows the team the ability to respond to market trends and also focus on ultimate delivery. The deliverable is any unique or verifiable product or result of a capability to perform a service that is produced to complete a process, phase, or project. And there are three common development approaches that we're going to discuss: predictive, hybrid, and adaptive. When selecting a development approach, you should consider the categories of the product, service, or the result, or the project, or the organization as well. And we'll discuss that on a separate video: the predictive approach, the hybrid approach, and the adaptive approach. Let's dig in to the predictive approach, also known as the waterfall approach. This approach is useful when a Project and product requirements can be defined, collected, and analyzed from the start of the project. It may be used when a significant investment is also involved. So if you see a significant investment, keyword predictive is probably the type of approach that you're looking at. And also there's a high level of risk that may require frequent reviews. You're going to have a lot of governance, a lot of oversight on those reviews because there's that high level of investment. Change control mechanisms and replanning can happen between those development phases. The scope, schedule, cost, resources needed, and risk can be defined in early phases. So there's a lot of planning and you define these in the early phases. It allows the project team to reduce the levels of uncertainty early in the project up front because they're doing a lot of planning. So your ultimate goal is to reduce the uncertainty. We understand that there's always going to be uncertainty on projects. And also possessing a proof of concept developments to explore options, but most project work follows the plans described early at the start of the project. So you might work off of proof of concept, but you're usually going to use that plan that you started, describing early on in the project. And many projects use this approach and they have template from previous projects. So if you're using a template and you see the word template, predict. So the second approach we're going to discuss is the hybrid. This is a combination of adaptive, which we'll discuss last, and the predictive approach. And this is proper when there is uncertainty and risk around the requirements. It is helpful when deliverables can be modularized or when different projects teams can develop different deliverables. You often use an iterative or incremental approach. An iterative approach is useful when clarifying requirements and investigating many options. So let's read that again. Iterative approaches are useful when clarifying the requirements, making sure that you're understanding and investigating other options. This may produce sufficient capability to be considered acceptable for the final iteration. And you get to try ideas to clarify the scope, approach, and also the requirements. So this is really good for experimentation purposes. An incremental approach is used to produce a deliverable throughout a series of iterations. So each iteration adds functionality with a predetermined time box, and that time box is also called a time frame. And it progressively develops features and functions. We call that progressive elaboration. This deliverable can be considered complete only at the final iteration. However, an example of a hybrid approach could be the use of an adaptive approach to develop the product with significant uncertainty around with the requirements. However, the deployment, this is when you're delivering it, can be done using a predictive approach. Another example is a project with two deliverables. So one deliverable is used using an adaptive approach and the other uses a predictive approach. And last but not least, we're going to talk about the adaptive approach. You're biting in small chunks, iterations, increments. So an adaptive approach is helpful when requirements are subject to high levels of uncertainty and volatility, and they are likely to change throughout the project. A clear vision is established at the start of the project, and initial known requirements are refined, detailed, changed, or replaced by the user feedback, environment, or unexpected events. The adaptive approach uses iterative and incremental approaches. In adaptive methods, the iterations tend to get shorter. The product is more likely to evolve based off of stakeholder feedback, and some agile approaches entail iterations that are 1 to 2 weeks long in length or duration, with a determination of the accomplishments at the end of each iteration. So at the end of each iteration, you have a presentation, you have a sprint review with the stakeholders, with the product owner and other customers to review that iteration. The project team may determine the scope that they can achieve by prioritizing the backlog, estimating the work involved, and working and collaborating throughout the iteration to develop the scope. So once again, that also is that progressive elaboration of that scope. Thank you for listening to this. This is a development approach study review guide, and I want you to go to the EverTech page, download this guide. You want to make sure that you understand these development approaches. This is critical to passing any of the project management certifications, whether it be CAPM, whether it be PMP, Project Plus, or others. You have to understand these development approaches. Predictive, which is also known as Waterfall, the hybrid, which is the best of both worlds, and the adaptive approach. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you for joining us today. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more project management content. See you on the next one.